Remember, experts said for years, $44 million. That's basically $11 million every year for a guy with bad ankles. That's a terrible deal. But he was playing while hurt. That's just not something you want from a guy who can only score points. Will he be strong enough against NBA players? I think, Hannah, the bigger question is where will he go? But he's been playing here in other countries, in Italy, playing just a little bit. You have guys like Jeff Teague and Johnny Flynn, and then you have Steph, who's an amazing shooter, but not a real point guard. And there's just a feeling that he's not a super athlete. I have said the exact same thing for 16 years here. I don't like teams that just shoot jump shots. I don't think you can win the championship being a good team that shoots jumpers. But they're not even top 3 in your mind. No, because I like the big players on those other 3 teams. Man, did those guesses turn out horribly wrong. Every one of them lasted less than 1 season before Stephen Curry went out and proved them completely wrong. But you can't totally blame these TV people who could have guessed that this skinny kid would become the NBA's best shooter ever. I was more interested in basketball at the time. It was more my sport, kind of where I am right now. And definitely, I can make a difference on any NBA team next year. So I have that kind of confidence. Not even his own dad knew Steph's full power. Still, it was clear Steph had a future in the NBA. But for most of his career, Stephen Curry's basketball skills have been ignored and not believed in. Growing up, Steph was just a 3-star player. Coming out of Charlotte Christian High School, he was an all-state player who led his team to 3 conference wins. But because of his thin body and lack of jumping power, he was ranked 263rd in the country. He got 0 offers from any of the big college teams. Virginia Tech offered Steph a chance to walk on the team, but that was probably a favor because of Del Curry's amazing career there. Instead, he chose Davidson, a smaller school that didn't have a long history of winning games. While there, Steph put up crazy numbers and put the Wildcats on the national stage. He led all of college basketball in scoring his 3rd year with 28 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds. But his most magical moments came from the NCAA tournament the year before. Steph dropped 40 points in the first round, 33 in a sweep, 16 blowout, and finally lost in the Elite 8 against the number 1 ranked Kansas Jayhawks. Even though Steph had 25 of his team's total 57 points, imagine if he had some help. Even after that amazing run and his crazy 3rd-year performance, Steph was still doubted leading up to the 2009 NBA draft. Will he be strong enough against NBA players? I think, Hannah, the bigger question is, where will he go? And you have guys like Jeff Teague and Johnny Flynn. And then you have Steph, who's a great shooter, but not a real point guard. And there's just a feeling that he's not a big-time athlete. ESPN TV, people really believed players like Brandon Jennings, Johnny Flynn, and Ricky Rubio would all turn out to be better NBA players than Steph Curry. Jennings and Flynn are out of the league, and Rubio, who's also not appreciated enough, is now playing as the 6th man on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yes. All the credit is on me. I mean, they wouldn't be All-Stars without me. However, the Warriors could see something special in Stephen Curry, so they picked him with the 7th choice in the 2009 NBA draft. But again, even their star player, Monty Ellis, wasn't sure about him. When asked about sharing the backcourt with Steph, Monty told reporters, "You can't put 2 small guys out there and try to play 1 and 2 when you've got 2 big guards in the league. You just can't do it." And later said that the Golden State Warriors were not going to win that way. None of the hate and low hopes bothered Steph, though. In his first season, Steph was electric. He averaged 17 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. He finished as runner-up for Rookie of the Year to Tyreke Evans, who was only able to beat out Steph after a historic 25-5 season. But in his second year, the injuries started to pile up. Steph hurt his ankle over and over again, and eventually had to have surgery. In the 2012 season, Curry played only 26 games. The complaints that Steph was too weak and fragile to handle an 82-game season looked exactly right, and many thought that his career would be short. Still, the Warriors believed in him. They signed him to a 4-year, $44 million contract after the 2012 season. At the time, this was seen as a huge risk. 4 years, $44 million. That's basically $11 million a year for a guy with no ankles. That's a horrible contract. That's just not something you want from a guy who can do nothing but score. Steph must have taken this criticism personally because he responded like all NBA greats do. He rose to the occasion. After getting better from surgery, Steph changed his body. He went from being unable to lift his body weight to lifting over 400 pounds. The result was he was no longer a walking injury risk. And a healthy Steph Curry took the league by storm. Just one season after surgery, Steph played 78 games. His numbers jumped up to 23 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. He was picked for his first All-Star team. Steph would play without injuries for another 5 seasons. But still, the critics weren't impressed. The league had been ruled by either big, strong centers or physical forwards. And people seriously doubted that a small guy who mainly shot threes could be the best player on a championship team. Here's Charles. Berkeley, in January of 2015, Charles has had some bad opinions, but this one was just horrible. I don't like jump shooting teams. I don't think you can win the championship being a good team that shoots jumpers, but they're not even top 3 in your mind. No, because I like the big men on those other 3 teams. That same season, Steph won regular season MVP. The Warriors stormed through the playoffs, and the baby-faced assassin averaged 28 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. The Warriors beat the Cavs in the finals. Steph and Golden State proved that jump shooting teams could win championships. Steph earned his respect. The reason why Steph is my favorite player is because I've never seen anybody do it like he does. I've seen real greatness. He's going to sit by himself when it comes to best shooter ever. You know, the rest of the story from there. The heartbreak. In 2016, the record-breaking 3-point numbers, the first ever unanimous MVP, the Kevin Durant saga, and arguably the greatest team in NBA history. The 2021 scoring title, 62. 62. And he actually beats his buddy, Klay Thompson. All that from a small, underappreciated guy that the critics didn't think would last 82 games in the NBA. Now, Steph has single-handedly changed the game. He won MVPs, rings, and destroyed nearly every shooting record. Steph has made himself a top player in the history of the NBA, despite all the critics. He is, without question, the greatest shooter of all time. If there's one lesson you can take from this, it's don't judge a player too soon. You could just miss out on the next big thing. If you enjoyed these longer videos, hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell. I have a ton of awesome content coming out, and I always make my videos for the Henry Hoops audience. So if you don't want to miss out, hit the subscribe button.